How do we start it though? Just like that, hey? Hey, Daryl.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Daryl. Good to see you again. We're here. I don't know if anybody noticed or if you haven't watched our first episode yet, you can go back and see it. But when we were done
Yeah.
recording, Daryl had mentioned that it kind of looked like I might have looked like a kind of Disney character there with the way I had my discs set up. So in honor of that, I've come prepared with
There you
my
go.
R2D2 ears
That's
that I
al-
picked up.
that's almost perfect. Those discs,
It
they
actually,
look like they're just sitting on the shelf right now.
well, I'm not going to wear this the whole episode. I just thought you might get a kick out of that.
Okay.
Now, I know I threw this on you. We didn't discuss this. So put on your
Yeah.
thinking cap here and shoot some
Yeah.
holes in my idea.
The bit of a pause there was me taking a second to try and think the pros and the cons.
And all you can think of is how wonderful the idea is, right?
Yeah, we'll end the episode there.
Yeah, no.
Or should I say, it could be partly my catchphrase. That I like your idea, but you're wrong.
Ouch.
I
So
don't know. I don't necessarily love the idea. I'm not going to say I hate it. I'm just
Okay.
trying to think why I don't like it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Chain Out, the disc golf podcast for Canada. Nope, I'm not doing that one. I got lost.
I could feel you were like searching for words.
I'm like, I went way beyond the simple thing.
Yeah.
So we'll do it again. 5 seconds. It'll just be simpler. I think what it is I don't know what
Episode 3?
It's episode 3, but do I want to call it the Chain Out or Welcome to Chain Out podcast? Episode 3, I think.
Chain Out podcast.
Yeah, okay. Because that's how we've got it labeled, so.
Yeah.
I'm Jeremy, and with me as always is Daryl.
Hello, everybody. How's it going, Jeremy?
Going well, Daryl. How about you? How you feeling, buddy?
I don't know. Can you tell? My voice is. I'm not. I got that bit of a sexy Barry White voice going on, I think.
Oh, you say sexy Barry White. I was thinking maybe a little Phoebe Buffet smelly cat voice there. Podcasting energy that we've got is like a healing energy. That's what I'm going to say.
There you go. Yeah. Channeling my inner Phoebe Buffet.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Until then, Smelly Cat says, chain out.
Chain out.
There for it. But for me, I think what the difference is that if I have an errant shot at Nor'Wester, I'm going to hit a car. A car is pretty strong. My disc is going to bounce off it. If I have an errant shot at the hills, and
I know where you're going.
It's going to bounce off them, but it could do a lot more damage hitting a person. And I feel that those tight lines, I'd rather go onto a road and hit a car or hit a truck or something like that than hit an actual person. So that's what I'm gonna use as my deciding factor of why I'd prefer to play Nor'Wester. Plus, Nor'Wester is gonna have the longer distance, all the things that we talked about than the hills. But one of those things is I'd rather hit a car than hit a person.
That's a fair.
Hey everyone, welcome to Chain Out Podcast. I'm Jeremy, and with me as always is your favorite co-host, Daryl.
Favorite co-host?
Why, thank you, Daryl and Jeremy. I'm so happy to be on Chain Out Podcast with you and glad that you were able to invite me. I'm really excited to tell you a lot about I'm not the guest that you were expecting to have on the show tonight? How did you know?
That's the thing. So I had a huge mix, a whole bunch of different brands, but then I hold a Comet, and then I hold a Buzz, and then I hold a Wasp, or I hold whatever. Name your EMAC Truth or whatever.
Yeah.
They all feel a little bit differently in your head. It's not the same disc, even if it's virtually the same disc. If you hold an EMAC Truth and a Buzz SS or whatever you consider to be the same as that, it's not gonna in your head it's not going to be the same disc. So
Yeah,
Right.
that's such an interesting way to look at it, Jeremy. I've never thought about that. I mean, I know I've spoken. Obviously, Tim said that at one point he had 7 Nate Sexton Firebirds in his bag, and they kind of explain it. Yeah, obviously, the more beat in the disc gets, the more understable it gets. So that's why they have that. But until Brendan just said it, then like not necessarily having the disc because it beats in, but just having it because it feels the same. You've got the same disc in your hand, you're throwing it, and it's that's kind of just has hit me there for a second. So it feels like I've just leveled up in my disc golf knowledge now. But that's the reason for having multiple discs of the same, because of the feel.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to get you to stop buying discs. I just want you to buy more of the exact same disc.
Yeah,
and then if it's wrong, you just have to buy more of a different disc.
You want to hear something? I hear there's a secret word on the street. I don't know nothing. But I hear the secret word is horse feeder. But you didn't hear it from me. Yeah, no. So who knows what's going to happen in the spring and summer? Maybe we might go down to 1 every 2 weeks. Maybe we'll
Don't
the quality
talk
won't.
like that.
Who knows what's going to happen? Just preempt it. I'm just kind of giving ourselves a barrier. What do they say? Under promise and over deliver.
Over deliver. I'm just going to over deliver all the time. You like the weekly? We're giving you the weekly.
Yeah, you don't have to episode. All right, let's do it. What have you been up to? People don't want to hear our woes of editing. They just want the final product. And this is the final product. So what have you been up to?
It's easy for you to say, hey, yeah, I'm cool if women play. Oh, it's a women's event. I'm going to go out to this other course and play that weekend. Well, why wouldn't you just give that weekend up and support them?
That's such a good point.
I was thinking that same thing, Jeremy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I know
Kristen, it makes total sense as well.
Kristen Swirls, I think, has an event coming up, right?
She's up first.
Yeah. She's up first. How many men are going to step up and spot? Like when I was in Cranbrook for Crush in 2022, we were flooded. Like the men were running the raffles. They were running the check-in. They were giving out, like passing the prizes to the tournament director. They were spotting. It was insane. Like we had so many men out there doing so many great things for the sport. It was just awesome to see the support. I had Crush here. We had guys coming out. We had families coming out. The moms were playing and the sons and husbands were helping. And I think it's really important. It's very easy to say, I'm okay with women playing. It's a little harder to give up your time to support women playing. And that's what speaks volumes. That's the true show of how much you really want them there. Does that, I guess.
Oh, yeah. No,
I'm not calling anybody out in particular. I'm just saying from personal experience and noticing the necessity of needing men, especially, to walk the walk, just don't talk the talk.
Well, I feel like that was just a light bulb moment that you just mentioned there, because when you were saying it, in my mind, I was thinking, well, it's a women's event, so they don't want that masculinity involved in it because they don't want, the men are here thinking that we can't look after the event. Like that was my mindset. But then when hearing you say that you want men involved because it shows that we're supporting, I looked at it from a different point of view, and I can understand now, actually we should be volunteering. And it's not like we're trying to take over. It's not like we're trying to say you can't run your own event. We're not saying any of that. It's just being involved and doing whatever needs to be done. Like you said, picking up litter, spotting, and anyway, any of the
Hey everyone, welcome to season 2, episode 109. with your two favorite chain out elves. Merry Christmas Eve to everyone out there listening. How's it going there, Elf Daryl? Favorite co-elf on this podcast?
It is going fantastic. You know, full of Christmas cheer. We both
It,
we couldn't let an episode go. We couldn't let a week go by without there being an episode. So we had to do one. We had to pre-record this one.
That's right. And a big shout out to everyone who is in the chat. The people who were able to get into the chat for this one were our live Patreon members. So thanks to them for all their support, checking it out and supporting us and checking out the link. And we could see that Brendan is in there hanging out with us, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And anyone else who hops in, thank you for that.
I want to start this episode off right, seeing as it is Christmas Eve, Jeremy. I'd like to say cheers. I have a little cheers. I have a little shot of something dangerous. I'll let you see what it is to start with, seeing as it is Christmas Eve.
Ooh, it's some Fireball.
Fireball. Yeah, I know you do like a bit of Fireball. So yeah, cheers.
Cheers. And I myself here, I'm having. Oh, I should take a drink.
Okay, take a drink.
Mm-hmm. I love my Fireball, but this here is I'm working on my beer advent calendar here, and as we're getting to Christmas Eve, should be almost done. This is a Town Square Brewing.
Okay, is that
rye?
Sorry,
yeah, it's a Town Square, and they're out of I don't know where they're out of. Anyways,
Town Square sounds like no, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I was thinking that Town Square was a Beaumont brewery, but it's not. That's nope. Red something.
In any event, this is a rye and ginger sour beer.
Oh my goodness.
And the name of it is Chainsaw for Hands. So I don't know what everybody else is taking. Maybe they're drinking a water. Maybe they're drinking an eggnog and rum. I don't know, but that's what I'm drinking tonight.
It's a nice Christmas beer.
Chainsaw for Hands.
Yeah, Dylan's in the chat. Everybody's loving the fact that Chain Out is sponsored by Christmas this episode, and we're two fun-loving Christmas cheer elves.
It seems a little louder for me for some reason in my cans tonight. I don't know if it's the larger ears that I've got on. So anybody who's listening in an audio side of the podcast, they might want to go and do that one time where they check out at least a little bit of the YouTube video.
I mean, people are actually going to see me looking like this?
Yeah, like I'm just, I think what everyone's going to be worried about is that looks a pretty slim fit. I don't know if that's the only thing you're wearing, just a little onesie there. Is that how you spend your Christmas?
No, it's not a onesie. It's not a onesie. It does come with bottoms, but I did not put the bottoms on for this. I am wearing bottoms. I just don't have them on right now. Whew, this is my first Fireball, honestly.
That's the Christmas present for all. Is
I don't know. I don't know where you got your jersey from, but one give you the history behind mine. A few Christmases ago, we started a tradition in my family where I would buy Christmas pajamas for everybody. So it's a thing where I buy a full set for the family. So I think this was 2 years ago where I got the elves pajamas. So yeah.
Okay.
The hat is optional. Great.
No, it looks good, and you look so smart with it. You know what it was is, if you remember way back when, for one of our previous Christmas episodes, I wore probably the same elf ears, but I had that bag. Remember, I had the bag held up, and
it was so perfect. It actually looked like you were wearing the outfit. Yeah.
And that was a moment for us. But for me, when it comes to Christmas, what I really wanted is, everybody talks about the ugly sweaters and that kind of thing. And I had wanted to have a Scooby-Doo disc golf or a Scooby-Doo sweater, that type of thing for Christmas, because that was my jam. But over $100 for the sweater for 1 or 2 days, I was like, nah, I don't think so. Exactly. But I was able to find this more reasonable Santa Claus on a unicorn flying throughout her space.
Move the mic. There you go. Yeah, this is, if you watched the previous Patreon episode we did where we had a chat with Carrie and Clive over at the Flight Pass podcast, I think Zoe described it beautifully. It's a rainbow unicorn with a Santa flying on it in space.
Holding a sword. For some reason.
Yeah.
So it's about as close to that as I want to get. Now, we're sitting here Christmas Eve, anybody who's listening to this when it first comes out. So it's one sleep until Christmas. Santa's going to
So
show up
excited.
if that's how you celebrate. And assuming that is, you should be waking up the next morning to having some presents under the tree.
Yeah.
And my question is for you and for me here, Daryl, is what type of present, what disc golf present would you be hoping for that Santa's left you under the tree tomorrow if you've been a good little elf all year?
What would I want? Um, an email saying congratulations, you're now been accepted onto Team Innova Ambassador. No,
That is, no,
that
that's a great idea actually.
that
Why
that would be it.
not? That would be an awesome present, wouldn't it?
There you go. I've got everything else I think I need or I want in disc golf. How about you?
Yeah.
What do you hope is
Well,
under your tree?
well, I think what I would hope is under my tree. It's hard to top that. I could easily just throw out there an MVP Axiom sponsorship would be great to have under my tree. It would fit with everything that I have in my bag. But yeah, I think you know what? Another year of amazing podcasts with amazing guests and another 500 subscribers and tons of support and love the way we've been getting it. I think that's what I'd like. And maybe too, I know this one's a little bit of a bigger ask there, is maybe when we want to hopefully bring some big name guests to our
Yeah.
listeners that maybe we can catch their ear and have some of those names on just to hopefully spread the love with our guests
You know what? I
or
think
our listeners. Sorry.
yeah. No, I think that's one thing if we look back at the podcast, no disrespect to anybody that we had on, but when we looked at our guests for, you could give out any number for the first 6 months compared to the second 6 months of the first year. Then compare those guests on the first year to the people that we were interviewing in the second year and how far greater of a reach we got. In the third year of Chain Out Podcast, I hope that we're getting big enough that we can maybe reach out to some of those bigger names and get some great interviews for everybody. I always like to say there has to be a Canadian tie. I know you'll always find a way that you'll find some tenuous link that they once were in an airplane and they flew across Canada on their way to Alaska or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully some bigger names, and I think we will. I think we'll get some bigger names on for year 3. Not disrespecting any of our normal guests, and we'll still have those people on as well, and we'll enjoy East Coast to West Coast to up in the Yukon as well. Anyone we can get on the podcast, as long as we're promoting Canadian disc golf, we'll enjoy it. But it would be nice just to have a little bit of a cachet to get some bigger names on as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another thing that would be good is I'm just realizing it's been probably was Cold Garden our last live on location episode that we did? Well, no, it was not because we attempted a live on location at Canadian Nationals this past September. And we also did an episode there on location. We did the opening ceremonies as well. So I think, you know what, to keep that alive as well, doing the live ones, maybe we can get out to another brewery in the Alberta area and maybe something like that when we get up, if we get up to Grand Prairie for Nationals, that would be a good one as well.
From the things that we learned doing, the opening ceremonies at Nationals and also trying to do the live episode, maybe we'll definitely, before we go up there and we do anything live, we will definitely be either seeing what the Wi-Fi is like before we go live, or making sure we have good signal on our cell phones and doing it outside or whatever we can do. We've learned from things and we're moving on. I just wanted to say, in the chat, we were talking about what you want under your tree. Dylan has said that on Christmas Eve, he has opened his Discmania Creator Black Box.
Ooh, well, and a lot of people too, Daryl, that's what they do. That's how they celebrate their Christmas.
Yeah.
Let us know how you celebrate yours, is that people will have usually one present sometimes I've heard that, where you can open one present on Christmas Eve, and Dylan has chosen his Discmania box. So I wonder if he's gotten anything good in there that he can share with us during the episode as well.
I just wanted to ask you one quick question, and we don't need to delve into this for too long, but you mentioned there about your asking for an MVP sponsorship. Is that something that you would happily take if it was offered to you, or is that something that you would consider? Is it on your radar as much as the Team Innova ambassadorship is on my radar, or are you happy just being open bag, throwing everything because you like your thought space as well?
Yeah, I think what I would tell you is that anytime you could be sponsored by a disc manufacturer, that's an honor for sure, and especially if it's one that is that makes the discs that you currently throw. Would I be partial to getting a sponsorship from another big name like Innova or something like that? I'd always entertain it, but I don't think I'm chasing it the same way you are. But definitely, It would be a positive to gift, and especially to say you were. Three. I'm going to give you 3 names that I could be associated with if I was sponsored by MVP. I could be, associated with Chance Stad, right? I could be associated with Gabby Lee. Mm-hmm. I could also be associated with Chad Stance. So I think, there's 3 great MVP Canadians that I could be associated with.
Exactly. Two of them have the same game.
Right? Yeah. 2 of them are really into Cthulhu, I think.
we can talk about that in the future, but I'm interested to see where, if MVP Axiom offered you a sponsorship, you would say yes. If Innova offered you a sponsorship, would you say yes or no? If DGA offered you a sponsorship, if Lone Star offered you a sponsorship, if Prodigy, like, which ones you would say yes to and which ones you would just have to pass, even though it'd be a chance to be sponsored and, all the benefits that come with it. But we can talk about that another day.
That almost feels like we put a little piece of Around the Basket into this episode.
There you go.
We're always wanting to make sure to give everybody a taste of what happens. If you like that kind of conversation, you can get that from Around the Basket.
That's where disc golf discussions live.
That's right. Yeah. And not always ones that we agree upon. Mostly agree, but not always.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing that we disagree on things, Jeremy.
Well, I'm wondering too if maybe for your yeah, I disagree. We should always agree. No, I think also too for Christmas, maybe under the tree, if you were thinking about what you would like for your Around the Basket present for Christmas, it would probably be about Jeremy's hot take on dogs on the disc golf course. So I don't know if you'll get that next year in season 3 or not as well, or season 2 of Around the Basket.
Yeah, there's some great stories.
That's right. There's stories.
But one of the...
Oh, go ahead.
Isn't it great when we're not in the same place? What I was just going to say is, when you associate Christmas, you associate a big man with a big bag and lots of cool things inside that bag.
I do.
Yeah, right? You see where I'm going with this, right? One
thing 100%.
One sort of the similarities with Big Mr. C and playing disc golf is that we also carry bags with lots of great things inside them.
We certainly do. We have big bags of discs, right?
We do have a big bag of discs. I have my big bag of discs beside me.
And one thing
yeah, go ahead.
And what we were thinking about that was we've talked about this before, and I think with everybody out there is we've seen some of these videos come out throughout the year. Marty Hendel did a great video on what's in the bag, right? Yeah. He came out with a video like that. He had Canuck Hucks take care of it, and we got to see just what kind of discs he threw. And I thought maybe Santa opens up his bag, takes out all the presents, and shows everybody. I'd like to see what did we look like at the end of 2025 at Christmas. What do our bags look like? And maybe we can do a little in the bag. I think you've had this idea for a while, haven't you?
I just want to, I want to just shout it out there because it seems like you forgot it, but I know it was only a short, but I did put out my midterm in the bag.
Right.
Yeah, I did actually do one of those as well, although it was a quick, short, 1 minute rapid fire in the bag. But yeah, let's do our in the bags because, I mean, one thing that I've got...
Should we warn people? though? I just want to warn people. So you said
Okay.
you're short 1 minute in the bag. Is this going to be the epic get you from Christmas Eve through your 7th drink in the bag? Is that what the is this the opposite of it?
I thought I had more Fireball in this bottle than there actually is. I don't know who's been drinking it all because I don't really drink Fireball that much. I do like my whiskey, but not, I'm not a big fan of the Fireball. But what I was going to do, I was going to try and maybe play a drinking game that whenever we mention something to have a shot. But I don't think there's enough whiskey in this bottle for me to do that. But the one thing on that is I will say it's not going to be a 1 minute in the bag, but it will be we're not going to drone on for 45 minutes maybe. But the one thing that I will say is that you mentioned about our Christmas in the bags. Well, our Christmas in the bags are different to our summer in the bags because we don't have bags in the summer. We have carts where we can carry a lot more discs. So I did bring a few honorable mentions that maybe I don't aren't going to be in the bag, but they would normally be in my rotation.
In your cart, yes.
In my cart,
yeah. And so I think that's going to make everybody, that's a Christmas present to them as in the bag, because maybe that's it, is when someone's like, well, here's my in the bag / in the trunk / in the, so this one will be a relatively quick one. We'll give you an idea what we've got, why we have it in there. And what we'd like to know is, oh, this would have been a great thing. I'm not going to be doing this tonight. I'm not in a good enough position to do it, Daryl, but that if people voted on, we'd give away one of the bags to them. But I don't think we're doing that. We're not that generous at Christmas this year.
No.
Maybe in the future we'll be able to do that. That would be great. Hey, maybe next year we can set up for that. We'll do 2 in the bags, and then maybe people could vote on which in the bag they want, and we give away one of the in the bags. Now, I don't know if that would be exactly the same because this is our true playing bag.
Right.
So,
yeah, we can talk about that, Jeremy. Don't be putting things out there into the universe until we figure out the details.
We got a whole year there, and you've got a lot of Fireball. I got a lot of Ryan Ginger here.
Brendan is in the chat, and he just wants to put it out there that he has a lot of great Christmas bags on the BR website. If you're so inclined to looking for a new bag, you can always get one there.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Should we get to it?
How do you? I think we should, and you might want to put yourself on widescreen, I'm guessing, and maybe have your bag there, and I can still chime in from a distance, or do you want to keep us split like this?
Do you want to go back and forth? Do you want to start with putters and approaches and then move up to mids and fairways and drivers and just go back and forth?
Sure. However, you lead the way there, my lead.
All right,
Christmas
I'm going to lead the way. All right, we just start with putting putters.
Okay.
What do you have for putting putters? Normally I carry 2, but in the winter I've put a third one in my bag. So normally, I think everybody who knows me knows that I throw the Innova Zero.
Yes.
It's not it's not a common disc, but the big man himself, Dave Dunapace, throws Innovas. And I believe Dylan can let me know in the chat because he knows a lot about the discs and things like that. This mold, I believe it's like a Discmania P2, if I'm not mistaken. So if you like throwing the P2, if you're an Innova person like me, I just found that for a long time I used to putt with Pixels before I switched to Innova. And I think I like a bit of a deeper putter more than a shallower putter. So I don't really, I always think as long as it feels good in your hand, and I never really knew what that meant. But trying some other putters, I think a deeper putter with a small bead. I don't like a big bead, and I don't like no bead. I like to have something there on the rim, which is the Pixel has as well. So for me, I have 4 zeros, but I bag any 2 at different times. I have a heavy one for wind. Pick zeros are my throwing putters. And I'll just say before I let you go, in the winter, I do bag my Canadian National Stamped Soft Firefly just because it's soft. Just so I know that if I throw it at the chains in the winter, it's going to have some forgiveness in it, and it'll hopefully grab those chains. There you go.
Yeah, that's nice. And how do you decide which one you're going to throw in the winter? Is there any rhyme or reason to which of those 3 discs if you actually have 3 putting putters?
Distance. So if I'm sometimes I think it's the same with the fact that I have 2 putters. These can be interchangeable. I think I have 5 zeros. I have 3 green ones. I have 1 red one, which is my heavy one. So I know my heavy one is a little bit heavier. And I also have a DX zero as well, because I hear people say that they like to putt with base plastic putters. For me, I don't like the grip. These zeros that I putt with are in R Pro plastic, so they have a little bit of tackiness to them. They have a bit more grip than just your baseline. So I have a DX putter, but I don't really like it, and it's just based on distance. And also, when I just do bag the 2 zeros, it'll be on a hole by hole basis. If I start putting on hole 1 with the red one and it is hitting the chains, then that one will be in the bag, and that's the one I'll putt with. If it starts missing, you know what? That one gets banished, and then the green one comes out, and that'll be the one that I start putting with after that.
Well, that's awesome. And it also looks like, too, for Christmas, you put a green and a red one into your bag. Is there any, does that have anything to do with it?
No, it was a case of just switching them out. One thing that I do, if you can see, some people may be able to see on chat, I do, is just recently I wrote spin on my disc 4 different places, because what I was finding is I was more push putting and not getting enough spin on it, and I was always leaving them short. I find that when I putt with conviction and I putt a little bit firmer and I actually spin the putt, they definitely go straighter because they've got that spin and they're going straight. They're not. I miss less left and right when I remember to actually spin, and it kind of goes back to what Brendan was saying last week on the Chain Out podcast, when he said that he backloads his grip and it's almost like he's pinching it with the palm of his hand and his pinky and his thumb. You know, you're backloading your grip. You feel like you're getting more spin off the putter as opposed to just pushing it to the basket. So there you go. Now I'll let you speak.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, I probably don't have half as much as to say as you when it comes to some of this stuff, but you're going to start to see a trend in things, and it will show up. You let me know when you do spot the trend with my discs or with what ends up in my bag, because there is a little bit of it. But when it comes to me, a while back, I wanted to figure out which putter was best. And we talked to Brock, and he talked about doing his double elimination challenge. And I did something similar where I took 10 different putters and I putted with them, and I kept mixing the order, and I putted from different distances, and I got enough of a sample size to see what putter was going in the most often. And way back when, that was a EV7 Phi. And so since then, I've gotten so many EV7 Phis, but right now in my bag, I bag one. And this one came to me from Alex Penny. And it has a nice birdie on it. It's a little bit gray. So it's a little tough for the winter. Yeah. But what I did was I got myself a bunch of different colored Sharpies, gave this, there's a bird on it, and it says Birdie Brigade for all of our audio listeners. I colored in the letters in a rainbow fashion, made the bird nice and colorful in blues and purples. And this is just my disc. So when you have 3 different putters, I have one for the winter. If this one doesn't go in, there's going to be another disc that's in my putt approach ones that I would have to use, and that would be okay, but I'd be in trouble because this is my one.
So I know you like the EV7 Phi, and I know you have a few of them. I've given you a couple as well. Why do you only bag one of them? Why do you not have a couple in your bag? Or do you have a couple in the summer? And why? I know you drew on that one and you colored it in lovely, so it's like a bit more personal to you. Why did that one win out over, say, do you have a cobweb or a spider web?
I do. I have some spider ones. I have some mandala ones. I think I probably have about 10 different Phis and 4 or 5 different designs, even just the standard stock design. And I think part of it is once I colored it, because it came from Alex Penny, that was part of the reason. Yeah, it gets in there, and you just to me, I maybe I'm already giving it away, but when it comes to discs from friends and discs from people, I feel that you get a little bit of them when you get a little bit of the disc. So you can hopefully draw on that when you're on the course, and when you're struggling with that putt, you can maybe think of a fond memory of that person, and maybe that takes you out of your funk and helps you with that putt. So
yeah.
And because I did a great job coloring it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's it. You definitely did. You colored within the lines and everything.
That's right. Took a long time.
Yeah. All right. Approach discs. So what speed are we going up to on approach discs?
I'm gonna jam out on. Let me feel
up to
two
4?
discs I have there for you. So you whatever you feel like. We're gonna get through the bag, however you want to do it.
All right. So my throwing putter, if I need something to go, if I'm not putting with it, but it's short enough that I can throw it, like a mid range or a 5-speed or whatever would be too far. My throwing putter is an XT Invader. Again, a little bit grippy. Numbers 3201. But for me, if I throw it full power, it's more like a -1/1. I can get it to, flip up a little bit. Again, a little bit of a bead. It feels good in the hand, like the grip. I don't like to throw my putting putters. So rather than getting a 0 and having that as just a throwing putter, I went with the XT Invader. And you know why? One reason why I kind of went with this as a throwing putter?
I have an idea.
Oh, what's your idea? Good, you tell me why, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Well, I think there is an amazing player out of Ontario by the name of Rebecca Dawn, who had that as a very common disc that was helping her be as successful as she was. And I'm wondering if that knowledge bleeded into you as well.
That's crazy that you know that, Jeremy. When Rebecca played in Junior Worlds, she threw the XT Invader. And so that's why I got it, because of her. And then actually I threw it and it actually worked out pretty good. So that's my throwing putter.
Nice. And is it coming over to me?
All right. Well, I'll do one more.
Might as well.
All right. Go for you then. I can have another drink.
Okay. So when it comes to me, I've got two. Well, I'm going to even go one more step. I've got 3 things to show you. We just talked about Alex Penny. He got sponsored by Elevation Discs this year. And we have so many different minis that we love. We have our chain out minis. We have I've got my DJ disc golf mini. I've got so many different ones, but one of the ones that I really like is he got me one of these super soft Elevation discs minis that has a bird on it. And it also doubles as a knee pad. So that is always a staple in my bag. Even if I've got another mini, I've always got Alex's mini with me as well. So that's one. And then I only have one putter, but I have 2 other putters that I use for throwing at the basket, depending on what I need. Yeah. So one of them here is MVP Watt.
Yes. That's the...
hold it in front of my face is what you say.
Kids on Track Gabe Piska's fundraiser tournament.
Yeah, so that's a blue one with a Wonder Bread type stamp on it. And again, that's a reason I've got it, is it works really good for me. It's almost like it was the glitch before there was a glitch, a heavy straight type of disc, sometimes drifting a little bit understable. Great disc to have in my bag. And then otherwise, I have my Chance Stad Baby Cthulhu range. And so there's my other one from the MVP Axiom Streamline series. And that range is similar to a Berg, as similar as you can get with kind of the rounded edge. Mm-hmm. And that one's nice because it does drop to the ground a little bit quicker. I can throw it nose up and it kind of catches the air, floats and comes down. And those are my 2 throwing putters that I'll always have with me.
I've never thrown the range. Is it like a Berg? Is it like a 1-speed? Is it like a rock? Do you have to really throw on it to get it to fly? Or does it have more glide than a Berg?
No, I would say it's very similar. It just doesn't have the stability of the Berg. So it can turn to the right if you don't have it on a hyzer. Whereas a lot of times with a Berg, we've noticed that if you throw it flat, it'll always finish to the left on a backhand throw. But I don't notice that with the range. I can see that it'll either land flat or it could go a little right. So you really have to put it on a hyzer to make it high, to finish left.
Right. Okay. Another approach disc that I like to throw, and this is so my Invader is just something if I need it to go straight with a little bit of finish at the end. If I am in trouble, or if I need maybe it to flip up to flat, or if I need it to turn over, an understable disc for me is my R Pro Dart.
Yeah, that is a staple in your bag. I can tell you
you've seen it quite a bit, yeah,
all year long.
The numbers are 3400, but for me, it's understable. Now, the one good fun fact about this disc is, I think I've told it on the podcast before, is that I took this to Smith Lake Farm, and where Nate Sexton was one of the coaches, and I had said to him about the Innova Dart, and I said, when you throw a dart, is it how much you pay attention to numbers? Because the dart for me is 00, but it's more like a -2. Like it is quite a bit understable. So he said, "Oh, do you have it with you?" And I of course, pulled it out and gave it to him. He kind of felt it, squished it a little bit like he does, threw it, and it just turned over and went to the left. And he's like, seems pretty stable to me. So this is my dart that was thrown by Nate Sexton. But yeah, it's if I put this flat or even on a bit of Annie, this will be my left to right, get out of jail. You know, if I need something to, if I'm in the trees and I need to get out around, the dart is what I'm going for.
Well, now, it does sound like you and I have a little bit of a tie there, because that Chance Stat disc of mine was signed by Chance. Right. You've got a Nate Sexton thrown dart. You have a Rebecca Dawn
XT Invader.
What would you call it? Is it sponsored? Promoted? What is
promoted,
it?
Maybe,
endorsed.
Yeah.
And endorsed.
Endorsed, that's the word, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dave Dunapace throws zeros. So, I mean, I'm sure we can find a link to every disc that we have that somebody throws, but the dart is in the R Pro plastic. You'll notice that I do like the R Pro because it is quite sticky. Another disc that I'll throw for an approach, we're going up in speed, but it's kind of that utility disc. Like if I need it to go left to right, I'll throw the dart. If I need it to finish left, then I'm throwing my Champion Cayman. Very overstable, very flat top. 5.5 204. So I will use this on forehand as well sometimes if I know, because obviously you need, for beginners that don't have a forehand, throw something overstable. It will correct all your errors that you're throwing and it will come back. Mainly throw this on backhand, but I will throw it on forehand if the need must. But I do have a different forehand disc that I throw better on forehand, that I, if I like a utility forehand sort of thing, an approach forehand. But I did get a Cayman from Brock. I think he was selling one quite a while ago, and it was a Star Cayman, and I liked it, but it wasn't that overstable for me, maybe because it was a little bit more beat in. So I decided to go with the Champion Cayman because the Champion plastic will give it that a little bit more overstability, and it definitely is for me.
Nice. And then the Cayman, it's kind of gets into that animal theme that some of the Innova discs have there as well. You start to hit some of those ones.
Yeah.
That's interesting there. Well, what I'm going to do is I was going to say to everyone as well is that if you see any of the discs in our bags that you think are the bomb.com, let us know in the comments. If you think there's one that you're like, oh, come on, guys, how are you throwing that? You got to switch that out for something.
Yeah.
Let us know. For Daryl, make sure it is an Innova that you're switching out, an Innova for an Innova. And for me, I'm pretty open to a lot of different advice that way. Now, Daryl, when we get to, or go ahead.
I was just going to say one thing. Like when we spoke to Brock last week, he had mentioned that one disc that he threw was the Croc. I don't have a Croc. I've never thrown a Croc, so that's an interesting disc for me that I would be interested to see how overstable that is, because he says he throws that because he wants it to be stable. I forget what he said that he was throwing before the Croc, but the Cayman for me is quite overstable, so I don't know how stable the Croc is.
Yeah, is the Croc that stable, or is that just a Croc and that you should?
Is it just a Croc of shh? Don't say anything.
Shh, don't say anything. So I'm thinking, if you're okay with this, I'm gonna grab the chunk of my mid-ranges, and I will bang through them relatively quickly, but you can hit me at the end there and we can go back and visit any of them. But I'm going to take, because I got a good section of mid-ranges here. Yeah. Now, one thing I'm going to preface about this is some of them are still brand new, even though we're at the end of the year for me, because as a gyro nut, I get my gyro. Yeah, I'm a nut. So a gyro not nut.
Yeah.
I buy myself a Gyropalooza box each year, and then I want to try those discs and see if they'll stay in the bag. So a lot of them have made it into the bag because of that. And I got pretty lucky for me this year. I watched a lot of people's Facebook comments and everything else that they were, it happens every year. Some people are happy with the box they got, some are not. That's part of the process, is you're getting 11 discs and you don't know what they all are.
Yeah.
But my bag overall, my discs were pretty good. So here we go.
Though that's the one thing about any disc that we have in our bag, is that they may be brand new discs now, but we also have multiple versions of that disc. So it might be a brand new range or balance or whatever you have, but you also have the prototype of that. You also have one that you had last year in the Gyropalooza. So, okay.
That's it. This is
That's
my
it.
whole set of mid
Now,
ranges.
what speed are you classing as mid range? From what to
5.
what? Just 5 speed?
5 to 5. This is all 5s.
Okay, let's go for it.
All right, we're going to bang through them relatively quickly. And
Yeah.
with that, we also have them, for the most part, in stability. I actually organized them in a way you'd be proud
Okay.
of. So
Go for it.
what we've got here is our Gyropalooza 177 gram, almost full weight Pyro here with the design on it. Pyro, that's my big bad overstable baddie. That's always going to go left. Followed by slightly overstable, this beautiful Pathfinder I got from a disc swap last year. And I know there was a little jealousy at it when I picked it up because someone was having their eye on it.
That's good looking disc.
And then beyond that, this one here is this is a Streamline, another new one that came out of my Gyropalooza box. And I'll give you the numbers first. It's a 5, 5, minus 1.5, 1. And when we look at it, it's an Echo is what that one is.
I love my Echo.
Then I have a disc that has been in my bag almost since day one. And that's my Glow Lazotl Hex. And this bad boy has been in my bag for quite a long time. I got my second ace ever on this disc. Yeah. And I believe I might have gotten another ace that you told me wasn't an ace, so I didn't write it on the back. But otherwise, this one has been in my bag for a long time. Travis Bouchard, a friend of ours, he loves these ones and asked me how much I'd sell it for. And I said, it's not for sale. This is almost would be the bag captain if it was in there for longer. Yeah. In my Gyropalooza box, I got a hex as well. But this hex here, 148 grams. Yes. And I've been really liking the lighter discs because I've been finding that they're easier for us to throw, easier for us to work on the angles, and to really get them to fly for our arm speed. So I like that. And we're almost done. We're getting through this nice green. You've seen this disc.
The Detour is a 5 speed?
5.5 minus 2.1.
Oh, okay.
My Gabby Lee Detour, signed by Gabby Lee. It's got the buns on there. When I've thrown this one ever since Canadian Nationals 2 years ago, Gabby Lee was throwing that disc with me, and it always flies the way I want it to.
There you go.
And then I've got Falcon. 2 more. Falcon's Flight. We got a super understable Rolo. Yeah. But what you know about the Rolo when it's in my hand is I can do things with a Rolo that other people can't. I can make this flip up to flat. The only thing I can't do with a Rolo is make it roll.
Yeah.
And then the last disc I've got here is this from the Gyropalooza as well. Another one I'm working to get going is a Particle. And that was a disc that I'll see if I got my spot for that one. And that's so this one is a little bit less for a mid. This is 3302.5.
I was going to say, I thought the Rolo would have been the last disc in that selection, but I don't think I've ever seen you throw that Particle.
It is new to the bag for the end of the season just because I got it here in the last month. So there you go. Did you have any questions on any of these amazing mids that I'm packing?
So your Hex, your Lazotl Hex, the one that you've got an ace with, and I know I've seen you throw that lightweight Hex, and with a beefy arm like you have, when you're throwing a lightweight disc, you can get that thing to flip over, and I think that might, that's what we love about discs and why we buy so many discs. And you think, why do you need another disc? It's because you can get it to do different things. The fact that the Hex is different numbers to your Detour, but yet the weights are different. You can get the Hex, if you throw it at full speed, you could get the Hex to do the same things the Detour does, even though the numbers are not the same and they're quite, separate. Going back to your Lazotl Hex, do you, like you said, it's going to be the bag captain. Do you think it would ever leave your bag, or what I'm trying to say is, like, you have the Hex, it's your bag captain, you're going to keep it in the bag, but you also have the lightweight Hex. Is there a situation where you would take that out, or would it be replaced with a different disc, or would you need a Hex that's a bit more overstable? Like, would you have multiple discs of the same?
Yeah, I could see having multiple hexes in my bag and narrowing down the molds that way for sure, because the hex, one of the things that I think Brendan brought up to us a long time ago when we talked about it is the, and you had mentioned it maybe even earlier, was the sense of having that same feel when you grip a disc. And maybe you're not cognizant of it and you don't actually acknowledge it, but your hand knows how to throw that disc and how to hold that disc. So if there are different plastics and the stability changes, like a neutron in an MVP might be a little more stable for a hex, then that would be my stable, and then my neutral, and then the lightweight could be my understable hex. And I could see that happening. But the problem is, if you're asking, would my detour ever come out as a result of that?
Yeah.
It kind of can't, because it's Gabby Lee. So until Gabby Lee makes a hex, that detour doesn't come out of the bag. So
and I think that's one of the things that I'm a bit guilty of, is having multiple discs that do the same thing. So if you have a lightweight hex that turns over and goes to the right, but you also have the detour that turns over and goes to the right, well, what's the point in having two discs that do the same thing? You like the way that the hex feels in your hand. You have multiple hexes, but that doesn't mean that the detour comes out. So the detour stays in. Does that mean the lightweight hex then comes out? Or do you have
if
two discs that do the same thing?
Could be. It would either be two discs that do the same thing, or the lightweight hex ends up coming out. If I had to go down to a satchel bag, that's probably what would happen at that point, is the Zottle would stay in and the Gabby Lee would stay in.
Think about this for the end, but that's what we should end this bag in the bag with out of these discs, if you had to downgrade to just one putter, one mid, one fairway, one driver, so we'll say 4. Maybe not a putter, because we know the putter is going to stay the same anyway. But if you had to narrow it down to, take one approach disc, one mid, one fairway, one drivers, that sort of thing, which ones would you take? And I think we know a couple of your discs already.
That's true. That would be tough, though, when you get down to one mid-range. But yeah, go ahead. What do you have for your mid-range group?
So, okay, well, if we stick with just 5 and under, because those are honorable mentions. Okay, well, I've got my Cayman, which is a 5-speed, but I only usually really use that in a utility situation. One disc that is, I have multiple, and I never really thought I would have it in multiple plastics or molds, not molds, but different kind of molds in some way. And you'll know what I'm saying in a second. Is this is a new disc to my bag. This is the one that I got from Kevin King in my Trash Panda holiday disc swap. This is a rock, but this isn't just any rock. This is a San Marino rock. It is max weight at 180, which is surprising for me to throw. Like, I'm the same as you. I like lightweight. Gone are the days where we can throw 173, 175, 177, whatever they might be. And we're now looking for those 155, 160 type disc sort of thing. So this is a 180, but it's a San Marino rock. Now, the numbers on a rock, I believe, are like 4403. But for me, when I throw this, I can get this to, it's more like a -1-2. If I throw it, I can get it to drift to the right, which is strange, really, because I'm always, a lot of people don't know what that 0 means, and they throw it, then it goes straight, and then it goes left, and they think, why is it going left? It should be a 0-3. Yeah, because the 0 means there's 0 turn to the right, so it'll go straight. And then the 3 at the end means it'll fade at the end. It'll get to the ground faster than maybe a 1 where it'll kind of land flat sort of thing. So, but I do have the rock. I have a rock X3, and I believe I have a rock 3 as well. But in the bag right now, maybe there's a bit of recency bias. Maybe there's a bit of, this comes from came from Kevin King. So that's a bit of, going back to your whole, friends giving friends this sort of thing. So the San Marino rock is in the bag at the moment. Now this disc, I think possibly this could be my bag captain. This was the first disc that I ever bought. I looked back at when I ordered it online. It was in a bunch of discs, and this is the only one that's stuck in it did come out for a little bit. The reason why I bought this disc was because I didn't know anything about flight numbers, and the flight numbers said 00. So I was like, okay, I want something to go straight. I don't know how I can throw understable, overstable. If I throw 00, it should go straight. This is a G-Star Mako 3.
Ooh.
This is the first disc I ever bought. It's 168. And for me, it's more like a -10. Like it is understable. G-Star plastic will be in faster. It'll go a little bit. It'll be more understable over time. This one, I can get it to flip up. And looking at my bag, I do have a lot in the lower ranges. I do have a lot of understable. It gets more stable as it goes up, but the G-Star Mako 3 is going to stay in the bag, I think, forever. I do have other Mako 3s. I have a Sofia Donica Mako 3. I have a very nice Halo Star NADGT Mako 3 that I got from my co-host of the podcast. That if in my cart is in the bag, but when it's in my bag, it's not in my bag. So that's what I've got for 5 speeds.
Oh, that's pretty narrow group. So
Isn't
that shows a little difference in our bags, in the fact that I pack a really large selection of 5 speeds, and yours is quite narrow.
Yeah. For me, I've got the Mako 3 if I want it to go to the right. And if I want it to go to the left, I've got the Cayman. And if I want it to go kind of straight, then I've got the Rock.
Yeah. So you've got a little bit of each. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, should we up it a bit? You want to keep going and up it a bit more on yours?
Yeah. I'm going to go up to... Well, okay, I'll go 6 and 7.
Okay.
Because
you go 6 and 7, and in the meantime, just so you know, we thought that San Marino Rock was a good-looking disc, and so did Dylan in the chat too. He thought that was a beauty.
Exactly. Yeah, and then he also likes your Echo as well. And the Echo was one of the first discs that I dyed. I have a dyed Echo that I used to throw religiously when I threw. If I didn't just throw Innova, if I went back to open bag, the Echo would be going back in for sure.
Would it be going back in?
I knew you'd say that. So up from the Mako, if I want to push it a little bit further, but I still want understability, a new disc. I love my Wombat 3. I did lose my Wombat 3. I forget where I lost it. I lost it at Hermitage on hole 15, but we ended up finding it. But then I did lose it again somewhere else. And now the new Halo Star Wombat is in my bag. I do have a Glow Wombat from Nationals that I picked up, but I don't throw that in the winter. So in the winter, the Halo Star Wombat 5.6 -10. If I want it to go to the right, and I know that it's not going to come back, but it's not going to turn over too much, maybe like a Rolo or something like that. If I can get it to go to the right a little bit and sit flat, Wombat 3 if I want to push it a little bit further than the Mako. 7 speed, stepping up again, understable, is my Leopard 3. This is the River City Cup Halo Star Mako 3, 7.6 -2.1. So again, when I first started throwing these discs, these would go straight and finish left for me because I never had the arm. Now that I can throw them a bit better, and I'm amazed at this disc, how far I can throw it. I've thrown this on holes where I used to throw a Destroyer or a Firebird, Thunderbird. Now I'm throwing this, and I can get it the same distance to the hole. So this is where I'm a bit guilty of having discs that do the same thing. So the Leopard 3, 7.6 -2.1. But I also bag an It, which is 7.5 -2.1. So only one glide less. But for me, this one, I don't know whether it's because it's in this Proto Glow plastic. This is a AHE Niska Pasquak stamp fundraiser disc. For me, maybe it's got less dome on it. Maybe it's a bit more flatter, but it's more like a -1.1. So
that one's
if I feel...
got a great stamp to it. It looks nice and glittery, and it looks like with the Niska stamp, it's just in time for Christmas. It's got some sparkly trees on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of this maybe, and we say flight numbers don't matter. Some people will write their own numbers on it. Even though there's one glide difference between the Leopard 3 and the It, for me, I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'll take out the Leopard 3. Sometimes I'll take out the It. I won't. in my mind, I'll never know which one is the 5-speed and which are the 5 glide and the 6 glide. But I'll look at a hull and I'll look at this is where I don't use a rangefinder. I'll think, this is more of an it disc, or maybe I'm now in the Leopard 3 range. So there you go.
Nice.
That's my 5 and 6 speeds.
And into a 7 too, I think, with the Leopard 3 as well.
Yeah. 5,
so
6,
how many?
7s.
I'm going to ask you, how many do you think I have as I reach back to grab them in that 7-speed-ish, 6.5, remember, because we're also talking.
So we're doing MVP I know you probably don't have any, but we're talking 6, 7, and 8. We're not going into 9s yet. 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah. You tell me how many
you
think I
had
have.
Quite a few 5s. I'm going to guess, I reckon you have like, you do have a bit of spread between your numbers. So I'm going to say you have 4.
4 sounds like a good number.
Just before you get onto your disc there, I just want to go back to the chat. Brendan says his Undertaker is his slower speed disc that used to be more stable, and now he loves it for his longer throws. So getting your arm speed up, now getting that extra distance with a slower speed disc is what I'm finding as well.
Gotcha. Well, one of the things, just like we talk about when you enter tournaments in a year, and if there's any involvement from Innova, you can probably expect to get some specific discs that Innova tends to put out there. A lot of Makos and different discs like that, maybe some T-Birds and such. Yeah. When it's an MVP Axiom sponsored, you get a lot of hexes, you get a lot of craves, and because you get so many craves, I have to narrow it down to which one goes in my bag. And I have this pink crave that, again, is a disc that's been in my bag for quite a long time. It's fading out. It's getting really soft. And it's a crave that is pretty neutral for me, and I like it. And it's relatively lightweight too. So light. This one is a little bit older that it doesn't even look like it has the weight stamped on it, which is something that Axiom has been known to do an MVP for quite a while now. So to give you an idea, that's one of those staples in there.
Just before you move on, that crave, we know that we have disc golf sometimes with Sonia, and she has a pink crave as well, and they looked a totally different color.
That's right. This one is faded. It actually spent some time at Langholm under the snow one year before I found it, maybe 2 weeks. So I think that also softened it up a little bit. And then another OG original disc, and when I say OG original, was going to Gander Disc Golf and buying the first 3 discs I ever purchased, a Sensei, a Hex,
I know which disc is coming next, the River,
This river has also spent some time under the snow. And for me, not being a guy who has a lot of good luck with understability when it comes to, say, something that's a -1-1, this river has gotten to the point where it is understable and I can turn this thing over quite nicely when I want to. So that's why it's still in the bag. It's so scuffed. It's so, you see that when you've got, if it was, say, Dave Ross out of BC or Stuart McKissick or one of those guys who's been playing since the early days when maybe Innova was one of the few discs that was available. And you see these discs they're throwing and you're like, why are you still throwing that, man? There's so many new discs that be in better shape. Why are you throwing that? I think this river one day will end up being that for me 10 years from now. Yeah. Why are you still throwing that thing as long as I have it? And then after that, I've got one of my lab seconds I got in my Gyropalooza box. This is a Glow Rhythm. Rhythm's a little bit different than a Crave -2-1, but the Glow might make it stable. So I wanted to give it a try and see how straight it would throw for me.
Yeah.
And then luckily enough, I don't know if it's lucky. I feel maybe a little bit like Joey in Friends, which you can relate to.
Okay.
When Joey went to the silent auction and ended up buying a boat.
Right.
I did the same kind of thing at a silent auction a couple of years ago at Spring Runoff. I won. I guessed the right price. So what I had done was I bid on a couple discs that they had there, and they were these Taco Bear discs. So there was a green resistor, which I'm holding in my hand right now, with a bear munching on a taco, and there's a line of tacos there. It's a DFX stamp. And there was also, I think, a Mayhem I got at the time. The Mayhem went into into a Christmas gift that I put out there. But this resistor is a disc that I know that Matt Dwyer and I know Brock used to throw it when he would throw before he was Innova, and it's a 6403 and a half. And I find this so nice for forehands and so nice for a reliable overstable disc when you don't need to really have a lot of distance on it. So that would be what fills out my 4 kind of 6 to 7 or 8,
Right.
as you said.
I used to bag a Crave, like you said, and I think anybody who's ever played disc golf has a Crave. I have thrown the Rhythm as well. The Resistor I never had. And what was the other disc you said you had there?
There's a River, a Crave, a Rhythm, and a Resistor.
Yes, the River I remember buying way back when I started, and I was always looking for new discs, and I figured the River was one that I wanted. I bought a River in gold plastic. I remember it. I think I had it for maybe 2 rounds. I think I might have lost it under the snow, or it went in the lake, or I think I may have just left it on a hole or something like that, and I never seen it again. It had my name and number on it, and never got a call back, but the River was one that I had very short. I never really got to throw it that much.
That's how you know it is a good disc, I think, is when you have your name and your number on it and it still doesn't come back. Yeah. It's because someone recognizes that they've won the lottery when they found that disc.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, there was another. So I kind of had my discs out of order in my bag. I do have another 7-speed and an 8-speed that I didn't mention. I can't believe I didn't mention this one. This one, again, is a signed disc. I would never normally throw signed discs, but for some reason, I've kind of loosened that in the end of the year. So I do have a number of signed discs that I do actually throw now. This one...
Have I worn off on you? Is that what you're telling me?
I think it could be, yeah. This one is my Sophia Donica Eagle L. So I do have an Eagle. I have a Greg Barsby Eagle, but just the fact that this one is a bit of a -1, given that bit of an understable. It's in Proto Glow. It's Sophia Donica. It's signed Sophia Donica. It's gone back in the bag. It came out for a while. I just couldn't throw it, and I figured, I think I may have thrown it once or twice, and then thought, nah, I don't want to throw it because it's got a signature on it and this needs to be a wall hanger. But then looking back at, maybe I need something a little bit understable. Well, I have this disc. It's Sophia. Maybe, I can always get another one if I need it. So this one is in the bag. And then jumping up to 8-speed. This is a new disc, but it's only a newer version of a disc that I already used to bag. And I'm surprised. Actually, let me have a look because... No, I don't have one of these discs in my bag right now, which I'm surprised of. I'm quite a bird guy, the same as Noah Higgins. So I normally bag a Firebird or 2. I normally bag a Thunderbird or 2. And I also normally bag a T-Bird or 2 or 3. I have a Vinomacula T-Bird. I have a Jen Allen. I have a couple of Jen Allen T-Birds. I have a Champion T-Bird. I have quite a few T-Birds, but I also have a T-Bird 3. Now, a T-Bird 3, my one that I used to bag is a Ricky Wysocki T-Bird 3, but this one I just got in a Tour Series misprint box. So this one is actually a Bradley Williams pig stamped Haley King T-Bird 3. So it's a Bradley King. Or a
Bradley Williams and a Bradley King or a Haley Williams.
Or a Haley Williams T-Bird 3. It's in Metal Flake, Champion Metal Flake plastic. I think the Metal Flake is meant to make it a little bit more overstable. The Champion makes it overstable. The Metal Flake a little bit more overstable. But the numbers, a T-Bird 7502. The T-Bird 3, 8402. So less glide. So I typically throw the T-Bird 3 when there's wind. I don't want so much glide, but I still want it to go straight and then finish left. This one has only been thrown a couple times, so it's still pretty overstable. Same with the Ricky Wysocki. I never really threw it that much. If I was going to be in that range, I would always throw the T-Bird, or I would throw a newer Champion T-Bird to get that overstability. But I've actually been stepping up to throwing the T-Bird 3 a little bit more. So there you go. That's 7 and 8.
So your T-Bird is similar to the Crave that would be in my bag, where you've got a lot of them and you can mix and match depending on your mood and which one
Yeah.
you want to put in your bag for a specific round. Maybe based on a course, you're like, I know that one hole, it's going to be the Vino Makala T-Bird 3. I need that one in the bag for that hole.
Exactly. Yeah. I think anytime I bag 3 or 4 of them, but again, same with the putters. Sometimes I can be like, okay, this is the one that I need to throw. Sometimes I'll throw it on a hole and maybe it'll turn over too much or it'll go straight or whatever. It just won't feel right in my hand that day. And I'll be like, okay, your time is done. You're staying in the bag. And now out comes the champion T-Bird 3 or now comes the 2023 Jen Allen or whatever it might be. So sometimes it can just be, if you're not playing well, you're getting resigned. You're getting benched, sort of thing. So, but T-Birds,
Gotcha.
I think, and it's funny because I have more T-Birds than Thunderbirds. But when I did the one disc round at Rundle, I picked a Thunderbird, maybe just because I needed that a bit of extra distance.
There you go.
Speaking of Thunderbirds, Jeremy, let's go up to, let's say 9 and 10s.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'll start this time. So I mentioned I do like my birds, and right here is a Calvin Heimberg Thunderbird.
Ooh.
This is a newer disc. Not really sure why I bought it. I think maybe just because I was buying other discs at the time and I needed to make sure the shipping was enough. So added the Calvin Heimberg Thunderbird. I do like Star Plastic Thunderbirds. I have a couple. I have a new, which I have an honorable mention, which I'll save to the end. But I do like a Thunderbird as well. So Calvin Heimberg Thunderbird is in the bag. And then you can't speak about 9 speeds and talk about birds and talk about people in particular. So this one that's in my bag is only one of 3 that I normally bag. But this is a 2025 Nate Sexton Protoglow, Halo Protoglow Firebird. I have a few.
Nice.
Tim Plamondon has convinced me that the Firebirds are the disc of choice. If you want to get an ace, get an Nate Sexton Firebird. I do not have a Nate Sexton Firebird right now, but maybe one day. That's just one of many Firebirds that I would have in my bag normally. But for my winter bag, I just got the one.
All right. Well, the Firebirds are such a great disc, and then a Nate Sexton one on top of that. Definitely. So I'm sure that ace is just waiting for you in 2026. Maybe that's one of your presents for the new year.
There you go. Just before we move on, Brendan in the chat, he still doesn't have a Crave, but he probably should, though. I think Jeremy
he can talk to me. I'm sure I could part with one for him if he wants to get one. I've got a number.
You would think that Brendan might have access to a number of Craves, but he doesn't have one in his bag. I think it was because he's one of those Discraft guys. And he also says that the Eagle L discs are so nice.
Right.
And I would agree.
Well, I'm going to get you. So you said 9 and 10. Now you guessed 4 discs correctly for my 6, 7, 8 spot. How is my 9 and 10 going to look?
Dylan says I have a 2023 blue one. Is this my 2023? I want to say this is my brand new 2025. But I do have a pink and blue. I don't know if I have it here. For your 9s and 10s, well, I do know you love a trail. So you probably have 2 or 3 of those. And you do love a mantra. So you do, I'm going to say 5. I'm going to say you have 5 discs in this category.
Well, you know what? Your guessing skills are great, but you're right. When it comes to mantras, that's the first one I'm going to show you is I've got a Karen Martell mantra.
Yes.
With her Mandela on there and it's signed. And you've seen this one. And I think I've probably thrown this disc about as far as I've thrown any disc and on a line. So when this one's working for me, it's a great disc at a 9.6 minus 2.1. It's I believe that's the numbers on it. It is one of my favorites, but I've ended up buying probably 3 or 4 mantras all because of this. You can actually see one in behind me there. I've got the space alien lady that's one I've got there too. This one is an interesting disc that I've got. So that's kind of my neutral disc for in that 9 speed is again from my Gyropalooza box. This may not stay in there very long, but this is a Fireball, and that would be that Firebird spot from an Innova side of it. But the thing with this one being 9, 3.5, 0, 3.5, a lot of these times people will say a Fireball is so stable it's unthrowable, is what they think. But how about when it's 155 grams?
That's the thing.
So we're going to give that a try at 155 grams. I think that one might find a place in my bag as a stable but throwable. And then you mentioned the trails. I got the Neutron trail and I loved that disc, but then I fell more in love with the trail when I found out they had a fission plastic one. So I carry 2 fission plastic trails, and one of them's purple, one of them's pink, one of them's 154 grams. The other one's 159 grams. So really lightweight. One that could come out of my bag is the pink one because it's got a significant notch in the side. But because of the fact that you and I had found a disc with Brock at Niska Pasquak that was broken in half and then duct taped together and yet still threw true to its numbers, I don't think I should sweat the little notch in my disc if a duct tape disc was able to throw that far. Right. And then to cap it all off, we've got a lab second, and I've probably got 3 different of this disc. It's a Neutron trail. This one is red, and this is these ones are a little bit more stable for me for my arm. And I've got a blue one, I've got an orange one, I've got a red one. It is I can probably interchange any of those 3, but because this one came from my new gyro box, that's why that one's in there. And even so much so, Daryl, with these Neutron trails, you can put this one on, or I can put this one on forehand, and it throws nicely both forehand and backhand for me.
Right. One thing that I would ask you, sorry, do you have more?
No, that's all of those.
So out of those 2 lightweight trails, why do you bag the 2 lightweight trails? Do they do the same thing? Are they similar? What makes you throw the pink one over the orange one?
Or the pink one over the purple? The only reason that the other one made it in there was because sometimes I don't have confidence in the notchy one. I want to have the other one, but that is truly the only reason. Otherwise, I was only carrying one, and the other one was a backup for when one got wrecked. And now I just have them both in there in case I don't have confidence in the one that's got a little bit of nicks in it.
Okay, so we can bring this up now. And this is something that I have noticed since throwing Innova only. Since sticking to one manufacturer, I found that I don't rotate my bag as much as what I see from other people and you and Mark and people like that I play with. One thing that made me sad about your bag is the day that you showed up to the course and I asked you where your lightweight Vodum was, and you said, "Oh, it's out of the bag." It was going good for a while, and then it started to do not the right things for me, so I took it out. So yeah, there it is, the white one right there in the middle. There you go, you'll get it. So the fact that you have so far mentioned probably a lot of, I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of, oh, I just got this in the Gyropalooza box. Oh, I just got this in the Gyropalooza box. So you've probably only thrown them a handful of times. So the fact that you rotate your bag quite a bit, and if you throw a disc and you think, oh man, this is an awesome disc, it flies exactly like I want it, and then it goes like that for 2 or 3 rounds, and then the 4th or 5th round, maybe it starts not, maybe you're not having your greatest round, but you throw it and it doesn't go as well as it did the first couple times, it comes out of the bag and it gets replaced by something else. Where do you draw that line of keeping a disc in the bag because you know the disc can do the work, it maybe that you're not throwing it correctly, as opposed to like the Vodum, where I know I've seen you throw it, it was so lightweight, and the fact that you could throw it on hyzer because you're quite a hyzer thrower and I'm an anhyzer thrower, but you would put that thing on hyzer, but yet it would go straight on hyzer for so far and then finish left at the end, as opposed to if I throw something on hyzer, it's hooking up and only going half the distance because it wants to get to the ground immediately. You could push that thing so far, and then all of a sudden it wasn't in your bag because, well, let me tell you, Daryl, it didn't do what I wanted to do for such a long time.
Yeah, and you're right, that has happened, and I think it's a good question to ask, is, and maybe out to the listeners as well, is what does a disc have to do to get banished from your bag, and how many times does it have to happen? So that Votum that you talk about is a great example, because it was throwing so well for me. Also my Noah Higgins M4 as well, right?
Yeah,
So both of
exactly.
those were throwing so well for me. And you know what happened with the M4 is the M4 hit a tree hard, and it was a soft disc, and it actually misshapen the disc, and then I lost confidence in it, but up until that
It
point it was a staple.
it could have
And
been
then
it could have been the resistor with that stamp on it because it tacoed itself right in half.
it did. And then when it comes to the Votum, what happens is when you throw the disc, and this is what happened to me in the Edmonton Open tournament this summer, there was a bit of wind, and the wind caught that Votum, and it decided, with the lightweight nature of it, it said, yeah, I don't care what you want me to do. This is what I'm going to do. And it put me out of bounds, and it added strokes to my game instead of taking strokes off my game. And as
Right.
soon as a disc starts adding strokes that were not expected, or you feel that you didn't earn those ones, the disc gave you those, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of the ways that they will come out of my bag, is like, if you give me strokes that I don't think I earned, or I deserved, then you're coming out of my bag.
Yeah, and that is the problem, right? We think about dropping to lower weight discs because they're more for our arm speed, right? So the lightweight, we can get more distance, hopefully. But
Mm-hmm.
the downside of that is if it's a little bit windy, if you throw it into a headwind, or if you throw it and the wind gets under the disc, you know, it's you're rolling the dice on where it's going to end up, and you found that with the Votum. So maybe the Votum comes back in when it's a no windy day.
On a calm day.
Yeah, but then what would come out? That's the question, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
So
All
where are
right.
you? We're at your 9s and 10s now, or we got some 9s there,
So,
did we not? Or are we going up
well,
higher now?
no, we can. Well, we go 9 and 10. Um, let me
Because
just.
you had some Firebirds and Thunderbirds, those were 9s.
Oh, and it just goes to show you that my bag is all out of order here, because I there is my vinyl macula T-bird. So I do bag a T-bird. I was wondering why I thought I didn't bag a T-bird. For some reason, it was out of order in my bag. There's my vinyl macula T-bird. So I do bag a T-bird. My 9 was the Firebird and Thunderbird, but I have a 10 speed as well before we get up to 11s. So this is a disc that I got at Nationals. I got it for two reasons. One, because I never had the disc, and I like to throw Innova, so it was a mold that I never had. The other reason why I got it, and if you look at it, Jeremy will know why I picked this disc. This is an Innova Orc. It's a 10-4, -1-3.
And it's an eye-dye, baby.
And it's an eye-dye. I do love an eye-dye disc, and I have a few other eye-dyes that didn't make it into the winter bag. For me, I think, really, honestly, maybe I can push 11 speed, but I think 10 speed is probably what should be my max. For me, I think the Orc is what your trail is for you. I don't have many Orcs. I only have the one. But for me, -1-3, if I throw it and I throw it nice and flat, I can get it to flip to the right and come back pretty straight. Even though it's a -1-3, it'll hold up in the wind. I can get it. If I throw it on a bit of hyzer, it'll go straight, and it's gonna, it's not gonna turn over or anything like that. The Champion eye-dye plastic, it's gonna hold up in the wind. It's gonna be stable. I can throw this on forehand. I've actually started to come to throw this on forehand on hole 1 at Hermitage, and I've parked it under the basket with this before. Not many times, but I have a confidence that I can actually throw it, and it will do what I want it to do. So my Innova Orc is a 10 speed that I really want to get more of, just to see how they fly in different plastics.
And and those eye dyes, like you said, they're great looking discs. They really, really do a good job from the Innova side. It's something, it almost feels like a custom disc that you would get, and
Yeah.
it's something that you can buy off the Innova shelf.
Just jumping back into the chat, and this is a question I think maybe you can answer more than I, or not really a question, but more of the thing that you can identify with. Brendan says that he swapped out almost all of his forces for Zeus's this year. Now, have you ever had a multiple? Have you ever had a disc in your bag of multiple molds that you've taken out completely and replaced with another? It's like, just for example, if I had all Firebirds and then I got an Innova sponsorship and I'd be like, oh, I can't throw Firebirds anymore. Okay, the Firebirds are coming out, the Fireballs are coming in. Have you had a disc where maybe like the Vodum or something that you've taken out and replaced it with something else?
Nothing too much like that. I have noticed that maybe with discs that have the same numbers, because I can have multiple manufacturers. So say a Castoplast Svea versus Wombat 3 from Innova. I feel those discs are very similar to each other, and they'll swap out depending, or sometimes they'll both share the bag, because just like you said, it's funny, as a disc can have the same numbers, a lot of the same flight in that, but sometimes you're like, nope, it's the Svea disc, or it's the Svea hole, or it's the Wombat 3 hole. So I think that's the closest I've had with it. I've not really done one where I've taken a whole bunch of discs out and changed them straight up with another mold. But I could see as you improve, or if you're injured, or if you change, like right now, I'm trying to work with Steve Newman, has helped me when we were in our fall league there, to help me improve my game.
Yeah.
And if you improve your game and you make a significant change to it, that could be a good reason to have to change a mold, because maybe the way you throw it is no longer the same. You've added more speed or more spin or more angle to it, and it no longer flies like it used to for you.
I'd be interested to, like, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate and see how it would fit into your scenario. Let's say you ever did get an MVP Axiom sponsorship, and they said, yep, you can only throw MVP Axiom sponsorship. Anything else that's in your bag, you have to take out. And you look at your mantra, 9-5 -2-2. What in the MVP range would replace your mantra?
I've looked at that just to see.
Yeah.
And I think I would have to maybe, sometimes what you can get is you can get those exceptions, as they do with Innova, where was it a disc made by Innova, but it's another manufacturer.
Right. That's kind of
or
a cheat
another
mode.
company.
But I would
So maybe
say
my cheat mode would be, because Thought Space is made a lot of times by MVP.
right.
So maybe I could get around it that way. Because you are right, though, is sometimes there's a disc, and that's probably the hardest thing is, you use the Berg as an example. If the Berg is your disc, what disc actually replaces a Berg? There isn't really something out there. There's other discs with similar numbers, or other discs with similar qualities. But if you're a Berg person, you're a Berg person, and there's not much you can do about it. So there are probably some discs like that. And I do find that as you get into the Axiom MVP line, when you want to get a higher speed with more understability, you start to lose those options.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I was going to suggest to you, and I know you have one. I'm sure you have one or two. Have you tried throwing and like put actual time and effort into throwing it? The Insanity, because I think the Insanity is a -2-1, and I'm sure you have one, because I know you got the PDG just like I do, and then I know there was an Insanity in there.
Well, I have about 3 different Insanities. I have a Gabby Lee one, so that one is one that I need to put some time into, because it's got the buns on it. Yeah, and then I also do have a lightweight used one that I got at a disc swap, with the kind of that clear plastic that they have, and that one there I need to spend some more time with. And you're right, maybe one of those ones could take the place if I get the door knocked on by MVP Axiom.
That is the thing, right? Why would you take the mantra out if you have no reason to take it out? But yeah, just that question of, if you had to, what would you replace it with? And yeah. Brendan asked a question: do you guys ever choose to buy discs to start in your bag that are going out of production? Or do you stock up if something you love is going out of production? And I think I'm probably lucky with Innova in the fact that they don't go out of production. And then, in fact, what they've done is they've brought discs back, because the Eagle L was out of production, but it came back in from Sophia I don't think they've ever closed down production on a disc that I know of in my time, anyway.
Well, and one of the things I would say that you might find is it may not always be out of production, but it's the end of a run. So again, if we
Right.
go back to our friend Travis there, he enjoys the Lazotl hexes.
Mm-hmm.
So I just recently put up I tag him when I see one come up on Facebook so
Yes.
that he knows about it so that he can stock up because he has a few different discs where it's this run. And I know Thought Space can be that way as well, for
Yeah.
example, because Thought Space will have Pathfinders, but every year has a specific stamp on it. So you want the Strongman Pathfinder, or you want the
Right.
Snake Pathfinder that I have. So in those cases, there, you hope you figure that out. If you like that run, you hope you figure it out early enough to buy it up. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you wait too long and you find it 3 years later is when you discover that run was a good run, then you're chasing them around. So I would
Yeah.
say to Brendan's question there, you'd have to know right away that this was a disc you love and have been experienced maybe with that disc to know that not every run is the same. Sexton Firebirds, I think, probably fall in that example too.
Mm. Yeah. I don't think I'm experienced enough with my discs to be able to know. Like, I have a Vinyl Macula T-Bird, I have a Jen Allen T-Bird, well, I have two Jen Allen T-Birds, I have a Cayman T or a Champion T-Bird, a couple of Star Plastic T-Birds. I don't know if I could say, oh, this this 2023 Jen Allen T-Bird is so much better than the 2025 Vinyl Macula T-Bird. For me, they kind of fly the same. I haven't thrown them enough. I don't think I've beaten enough discs to actually get them to fly different than what they've started off flying. As much as I've thrown them, maybe I don't play enough or don't hit enough trees. I don't know what it is, but there's only a couple of discs maybe that I've thrown that I'm now getting to turn over prior to them turning, being more stable. I don't know if that's the fact that I've can throw faster now or harder than I did before, but there's not many discs that I have that have changed that drastically. Not that I can really pinpoint anyway. To say enough of, oh, this is the one that I want to get. I don't know. Maybe that is something to say about Innova's line, that they're more consistent. I don't know. But you're right. I've heard you say that before about the Pathfinder from Thought Space being each run with that stamp on it is the one that you need to get. And like you said, the Nate Sexton Firebirds do kind of fall in that category as well.
That's it. All right. Well, I want to finish off my bag here for you. And how many discs do you think are left in my bag at this point that we're going to talk about?
Well, I thought Trail was probably your fastest disc. I'm just trying to think what you have above 11 or 10. Let me think. I know this isn't good audio, but I'm just trying to think what other discs I know that you throw. That would be. Oh, you have a wave. I think maybe you have two waves, so maybe a couple of those. All right, I reckon you got 3 left.
Man, you are on fire. It must be like the 5 fireballs that you've had tonight. Yes. You're on fire.
Okay, so we're going for number 6.
Go for number 6. We should have had this at the beginning, and maybe we do this for New Year's, but you should have been yelling fireball every time you had one.
There we go. We're empty. 6 fireballs was the number that was left in the bottle.
So what I have, again, going back to the gyro box from this year, just again, I don't even know that I've thrown it yet, but I do have, as you said, I have 2 waves. Here's the first one. This is the 10-year anniversary wave. It's in a neutron plastic. It's the white one that everybody would have probably seen. And I don't expect that one to fly too much different. It's 174 grams, so it's a little bit on the heavier side. But the one I do throw all the time is my cosmic neutron wave. That one there, it falls at 165, so it's a little bit less weight. And this one is a great competitor to my trail, and I've heard a lot of people love the wave, and I think even you at one point used to throw the wave because it's a really accessible 11 speed, even if you do have not an 11 speed arm. So I like those waves. And then the last one that's in my bag, which is I was very excited when it first came out and Simon released it, and then it was just a little bit too much for my bag, so I took it out. But in my Gyropalooza box, I got a lightweight time lapse.
Yeah.
159 grams. And I said to myself, at 159 grams, I might actually be able to throw that 12 speed.
Yeah.
And so I did throw it recently here on the weekend. And I think I maybe did a little bit something funky with my throw, but somehow I managed to turn this time lapse right over and not throw it anything like a stable disc like it should have been. So I'm
That
interested to
was
see a little more what it's going to do.
Yeah, that was insane when I seen you throw that. I don't know, I didn't know what it was when you threw it, but when you let it go, I was expecting it to be stable and go left because obviously I was spotting for you on the hole 6 at Hermitage for people that know that hole, thinking that it was going to come out around, I don't know what this you were going to throw because I was away from the tee pad, but I would have thought you would have been throwing a Firebird or a Fireball or something that was going to go left, and you threw it and it went over my head and it went to the right and it never came back, and it was like a -3-0. It just turned to the right and there was no fade at the end. It just went right and was never looked at coming back. If that had not hit the trees, I don't know where it would have ended up. Maybe it would have come back full circle and hit you in the back of the head. It was going that far right. It never looked like it was coming back. But then when you told me it was a time lapse, like my draw hit the floor. Like you turned the time lapse over, just kind of shocked me. And then you said it was 158, but still, for you to turn over a -1.3 12 speed and to get it to turn over that much, it wasn't hard. There was no wind that day, so you can't say that it was a headwind. It started to turn over and it couldn't fight out of it. Like it was a time lapse. It should have fought out of it.
Yeah, it broke time. Time lapsed when I threw that one, and all we knew was, but it was an interesting one. So we'll give it some more time, and maybe that's also something to be said about the progress I'm making with my throw is that I'm able to put a little bit more power, and I got to watch how light those lightweight discs get. Or being a lab second, maybe it's not truly a time lapse after all.
Maybe that's the case. Okay,
What do you got to
how
finish
many
your
discs do you
bag
think
off?
I've got left? You know my bag
I
pretty
think
well.
you've got a good 6 or 7 discs left. That was my guess.
Actually, in my bag, I have 5 left.
Okay.
I have.
Do you want? Well, I won't call them out because I don't want to spoil it, but I do know a few of them.
Yeah, you do know. I'll hold it up and you can tell me what it is. But I don't think you're going to know this first one because this first one is a new one into my bag. It's a lab second.
Oh, yes. It's a lab second F2 blue disc. I did just see you throw this recently, but I'm not going to remember what that one is.
So this is a G-Star plastic model of a disc that I actually started to like again. I bought it. I didn't like it for a while. It came out of the bag. It went back in. I started to like it. Now we're getting into winter. I figured, you know what? I seen it in the lab seconds. I don't care about stamps as much as I do say that I do have a lot of Pro Series stamp discs here. This is a G-Star Mystere 11.5 -22. So this is kind of like my wave.
Yes.
So, yeah. I've been able to throw it G-Star a little bit more understable. I can put this on hyzer, get it to flip up to flat, drift to the right, and I know it's going to come back to the left as long as there's not a headwind. But in the G-Star plastic, a bit more grippy for the winter. So I do bag a different Mystere in the summertime, but the Mystere. I have 2 purple discs. I won't show you the front, but you know what this purple disc might be?
Oh, I should know, but I'm not going to know.
This is a lightweight. This is a 163 G-Star again. Wraith.
Right. Yes. Okay.
So this is one of the discs that I actually parked, and I'm saying parked under the basket, hole 10 at Niska. I threw it.
Wow.
Yeah, threw it on hyzer, got it to flip up to flat, drifted a little bit to the right. With it being G-Star, with it being an older disc, I got this in a disc swap. This actually, I don't know if I can tell. I believe I did have Scott Burmacombe. This is who originally had this disc. Got it in a disc swap. For me and my lower arm speed, I can get you. So I'm feeling around that 11 speed. Maybe the 10 speed is where my arm should be. Another purple disc.
That would be one of 2 discs that you would have left in your bag, is my guess.
I have
I
3
think
left.
that would be one of 2 of the same disc. I think that would be your newer Excalibur. Am I correct?
No, you're not. This is another
Oh,
G-Star. I have a few of these, but for the winter, I'm putting this one in and I'm trying this to see how it goes. This is my G-Star Mamba.
gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know. This is probably 160 gram. Thought it might have been a little
Okay,
bit
so a little
heavier.
bit lighter.
So this is if I need it to turn to the right, if I need it to, that sort of thing. So a Mamba, I do bag another Mamba, but a G-Star Mamba, just to have that understable. This actually, fun fact, this Mamba, the G-Star, this one, exactly what I'm holding, is the one that I birdied hole 6 with at Hermitage on a forehand. So super understable disc. This is how I was able to birdie hole 6 at Hermitage. Throw it understable, quite steep, enough to get it around the corner to the left. And then by the time it comes out of the flight and it starts to fade back to the right, because obviously I'm throwing it on forehand, it actually pushes forward and you get that extra distance. A lot of people would think a dog leg left, you want to throw something overstable, like you were trying to throw your time lapse. Actually go forehand with understable, actually pushed it through, was able to get into circle 1 multiple times, missed the putt a few times, but to get the birdie, that's the disc that I wanted to use. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I hold up this disc, you should know this disc.
That is your Baby Destroyer.
This would be my Bradley Williams Baby Destroyer, signed by
Tommy G.
Tommy G. Yeah, he threw this one. I don't know if he threw this one actually, but there's a reel of him throwing a Baby Destroyer from Bradley Williams. I told him that if he could get one of those and bring it up to Smith Lake Farm, I would buy it from him. He brought it up. I bought it from him. He signed it. So lightweight, 158 gram destroyer. I shouldn't really be throwing a destroyer, but lightweight. If I need something overstable, that's the one I'm throwing. And then the final one, this is the one that you know.
This is the Nipaka River.
172 grams, 12.504 Excal that Jeremy found in the river that didn't get claimed. It's so beefy, yet because it's so beat in, it's a G-Star again. Oh no, it's a Star Excal, but it's so beat in that for me, I can forehand it. I can throw it back. I mainly forehand it, but I can throw it backhand. But it's so straight. It's been beat in so much that it's probably like a 0-1. I'm going to say.
Well, I think that one must have sat under the water in the river with the river flowing over top of it, beating it against the rocks underneath it, that it just seasoned it to perfection. And yeah, that Excal, I'm glad that it's worked out, because I think when we first got that one to you, you're like, oh, no way, man, this is going to be so overstable. And then sure enough, it was exactly what you needed to fill that spot. And now, you know what I think is good is that we've gotten to the end of the year. We have this now recorded for posterity's sake.
I do have some honorable mentions.
Oh, yeah, we should continue extending this. There's people who are probably saying, I'll be right back to the family gathering after I listen to this podcast. And they're saying to us right now, thank you for that lengthy in the bag review, because I would like a little bit more time.
A little bit more. Okay, I'm going to run through these quickly.
Okay.
Discs that I've added to the side pockets on my bag that I wouldn't normally bag. So,
polecat.
A polecat, which is stamped with a pig, but it's a polecat. I do have a couple polecats. I have a soft polecat, and I have a cat merch. Here's another polecat. I'm trying to get back into throwing it. Maybe that will make the bag. I don't know. A hog. Got it as a tradesy with Brock. Tour Series Miss Stamp. Bit more overstable. Metal Flake Champion. I'm going to try and throw it more. Haven't really thrown it enough. Trash Panda Disc Swap. Infinite Emperor. Kona Montgomery from Kevin King. I don't know what the plastic is, but it feels like G-Star equivalent, but it's an infinite disc, so whatever infinite mold and plastic would be, but an infinite Kona disc Emperor. I said earlier about a rock. I said earlier about iDye. My iDye rock is a disc that I would normally throw in the summer, but I don't throw it in the winter because I don't want to lose it. A very good friend of mine gave me a Halloween rock. Duo plastic. A Doombird Duo plastic. 180 grams. Max weight rock again. Don't want to lose it in the winter because it's a little bit white, so I'm not throwing it. Bradley Williams Valkyrie. I'll throw it in the winter if I don't want to throw the Mystere, which is 11.5 -2. Valkyrie 9.5 -2. Got that from Innova Canada. Another Duo plastic new disc that I got, but I'm not going to throw it in the winter because I don't want to lose it. Duo plastic Thunderbird. Don't know if there's any special, but it's a special stamp. Do like a Thunderbird, so I back out quite a few Thunderbirds. A blue 2023 Nate Sexton Firebird. For some reason, I like the 2025 better, so I'm not going to throw this in the winter. Jen Allen 2025 T-Bird. Proto Glow. It's white or it's creamy colored. Don't want to lose it in the snow, so I'm not throwing it in the winter. This is the Mystere that I would normally throw. Halo Star Plastic. Mystere red and white. Don't want to lose it. This is Star Plastic. Rather throw the G-Star. This is the one that got me back into throwing the Mystere.
It sounds like there's a pattern here.
Exactly. This is a new one that I got in the Tour series. Haven't really thrown it enough. This is a Steve Brinster Splatter Destroyer misprint stamp turn. I do love a turn for my distance drivers. -3.2. So I haven't thrown it enough. And then the one that got me started is the F2 Halo Star turn in Star Plastic. This would normally be in my bag, but in the winter, I don't think I'm going to get enough distance out of it. And I'm now starting to like the Mystere and the Wraith a little bit more. So the turn may be coming out, but those are extra discs that I wanted to give honorable mention that would normally be in my cart, but they're not in my bag.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's a good collection. It's amazing how many discs we can fit in these bags and these carts for sure. And just like the amount of discs that we have in our bag at this point here, I was just checking the Santa radar, and I think that Santa has pretty much emptied his bag of gifts at this point, and he's heading back to Mrs. Claus to tuck into bed there and that kind of thing. But us busy elves, the way we have been, we've filled up our bags. We've got our big bag of discs and ready to rock for the new year for sure. So I love it. That was good.
Yeah, we're definitely rosy cheeked and we're full of cheer. We're excited. 2026 is going to be a great year for us, I think.
That's right. And really, this is our second last episode of the year because the way the Wednesdays fall this year, the last Wednesday is on New Year's Eve. And I think what we should tell people who have gotten this far and are listening is you do want to catch that episode, because if this one was our presents and in the bag and our discs and our Christmas episode that way, that one there is going to have a little bit of maybe a look back, a look forward, and we're going to be jamming. And I mean legit jamming. So
it's going to be good.
I think anybody who's listened to the show for a long time knows that you, Daryl, have some other skills that have never, ever been shown on the podcast before. Like this is exclusive. Yeah. And so those skills are going to be on display. Yeah, we're not going to say more than that. Just you will want to be in party mode, and you're going to want to pay attention, because that's what we're going to do for New Year's. I don't know if I'll...
What I would also say is if you can't wait for what extravaganza is going to be in 2025 New Year's, 2026, go back and watch last year's New Year's episode just to see how much fun we had.
That's right. We had a great time, and we'll be doing it all over again. So at this point, have a great rest of your evening. Make sure to, if you've got your fireball, let us know if you made it to the bottom of the bottle.
But I don't think there's anything left else to say, Jeremy.
No, I think what it is that we hope that
hopefully everybody's sitting around the tree.
The tree.
Having some fun, having some eggnog. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're stuffed full of stuffing and turkey.
You know, and I would say so. And if you've had enough of your family at this point, and if it's done, and when they say they're about to leave, and I don't know if you have any family members like this in your family, Daryl, but I have a few that are fond of the long goodbye.
Oh, yes.
And I don't, so it's a matter of, they say they're about to leave, and then rather than sit down and talk for another 30 minutes, you have to stand by the door and talk for 30 minutes. Do you have anybody like that?
No, I'm more of the Irish goodbye type of person, but
you just disappear.
I'm just out of
So I would say, if you have any relatives like mine, then the other thing I'll warn you that starts to happen too is they go out to the vehicle to load something or whatever they would do, and then they come back again, and they leave and they come back. So when they go out and when that door closes, one of the things you probably want to do to make sure that door stays closed and it locks up, you're going to do your deadbolt. And then sometimes people will have that little piece that's hanging out, and what you'll do is you'll take that and you'll chain them out.
Thanks, everybody. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.